Teams on which he played had a remarkable run in the 1980s. Stan Jr. was a pitcher first baseman on the 1981 Halifax Fishermen's Market midget team that won Nova Scotia's first national championship at that level and was elected to the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame last year. Stan Hennigar Jr. won the batting title of the playoff round. He was MVP of the national tournament. He was on the Canadian All-Star team, and at the end of that year, he was runner-up in the voting for Nova Scotia's Male Athlete of the Year. In 1982, Fishermen's Market won the Canadian title again, this time up an age group in junior. Stan was All-Canadian first baseman and again was second in voting for Nova Scotia's Male Athlete of the Year. In 1983, the Midtown Juniors, with many of the same players, won yet another Canadian title, and again Stan was All-Canadian first baseman. It was his third national title in succession. He was so good in fastball, he was in demand to play for club teams across the country. In 1985, while playing hockey all winter at the semi-pro level, Stan Jr. played fastball in the Newfoundland Senior League. In 1987, he joined a Saskatchewan club at the International Softball Championships, and the same year played at the New Zealand Senior Championships. And here once again is Mark Smith.
Stan was the type of player that would come to you and say, what do you need from me? What do you need me to be able to do? And then go out and do whatever it was you asked. I think the other thing that stood out about Stan to this very day is he's got a wonderful sense of humor. And you know, even in competitive situations, he always had the ability to crack a joke or bring a smile to people's faces. Sometimes at times when it was needed most because of the level of intensity involved. He great sense of humor, but the ability to compete as well.
A bit more on his career. He ended his hockey career in 1989 with the Truro Bearcats of the Nova Scotia Senior League, but gave fastball one more kick at the can in 1990 with the Halifax-based Dairy Queen club that finished fourth at Nationals. In recent years, he has remained connected to sport. In 2005, he was a founding director and coach at the Pee Wee level of the Fall River Minor Football Association, created to pioneer the sport in the Fall River, Waverley, Windsor Junction, and Beaverbank area. Stan Jr. is a coach and board member of the local Minor Football Association, has coached AAA hockey for Sackville Cole Harbour, Junior A hockey for East Hants, minor hockey in Bedford, and minor baseball too. Ladies and gentlemen, a bear of a man who was intense on the playing field and ice, but who was a pussycat off of it. A man who has been a champion in every sport he has touched, and our newest member of the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame, Stan Hennigar Jr. Now, to present the Hall of Fame certificate, we'll call on Uncle Alan Hennigar of Sutton Realty. To present the Hall of Fame pin, we'll call forward a man very proud to see Stan Jr. enter the hall tonight, his dad, Stan Hennigar Sr. Can't help but notice, yes. Can't help but notice, Stan, the Hennigar men have awfully full heads of hair.
And a forehead.
Yeah. Can you, as we saw your dad and uncle, can you do what you did your entire life without phenomenal family support? I think the answer is no, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely no. You know, my dad was involved in sports all his life, and my mom was just happy to get us out of the house.
Simple as that, huh?
That's it.
What about, even if you try to imagine a life without sport, that must be impossible for a guy who played it year-round like you did.
A lot of schoolwork probably would have got done back then. Notice there was only 1 year at St. Mary's.
Yeah. Probably would have been a complete 360 on your schoolwork.
I didn't take math back
No,
then.
no. Sorry, Don. It's going to go on all night long. I know it is. I apologize. A running joke. What about when you look back in terms of accomplishments? We highlighted there a lot of fastball stuff. What do you see yourself as when you look back? I mean, you played everything, but is it fastball you focus on most to this day?
No, I'd say I always looked at just whatever was in season. That was a sport, and I think back as just as a multi-athlete. So.
What about advice to young kids? Because we mentioned there that sports didn't overlap as much as they did today. You had a chance to play everything. In terms of recommendation, what would you say to kids who are specializing early these days?
I'd say let them play all the sports until you get to high school, and then sort of dig in and specialize, and because the sports do overlap now. Hockey's 12 months of the year, and football starts a little earlier. Yeah.
Rumor has it that you once scored a goal on Wendell. Do you want to let that out of the bag tonight? Because McPhee said you never scored one in the AHL, but did you score one on Wendell?
I did, yeah, that is a fact.
Yeah. You want to tell us the story of that, or?
I didn't actually see the puck go in the net. I fell flat on my face, and there was 4 or 5 people screening him, but it did go in, and I ended up giving the puck, and I gave it to Wendell a few years ago at his retirement, and now it sits on his behind his desk down in Chicago, behind him in his rightful spot.
Right. so this wasn't a blazing breakaway goal or anything?
No, it yeah.
Went off your shin pad or something?
Actually went off Mike Huff's shin pad back to me, and I took the shot and fell down.
All right. Listen, no further questions. The goal's getting worse by the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, our newest inductee to the Sport Hall of Fame, Stan Hennigar.